and welcome to another edition of the Al Holland Show. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and tonight we talk U Pike football. The Bears coming off a 22-0 win over Bethel University last weekend, and joined by head coach of your University of Pikeville Bears, Coach Al Holland Jr. Coach, always better to get together each week when we're coming off a win, and a hard-fought road win at that.
Oh, it always makes it feel a lot better. And, a long 7-hour bus trip for us, and it made it a lot more enjoyable coming home this week. And the guys really fought hard, stuck together. We got to continue to do that week in and week out. And that was a very good Bethel football team, very big and physical team on both sides of the ball. But, hats off to our defense this week. First shutout since 2004, I think. And, that's big, and that says a lot. In this day and age in college football, you don't see very many shutouts with the way offenses score and move the football up and down the field. And that was a great job by them. Our offense got rolling, ended up scoring 22 points on a windy day out there, but had some big plays and seeing that excitement, some of those big plays that we missed a few weeks before. So we got things going, but try to control the clock and the ball. And, it paid off for us on Saturday.
A lot of times when you see a team that compiles over 400 yards of total offense, you see much bigger scores.
Right.
But 22 points, of course, all you need is about 3. That field goal would have done it in this game. But over 400 yards of offense, you have to like seeing that.
Yeah, and still some mistakes. We don't score on a drive down there, and we got the ball inside the 5-yard line, and we slip one time, and then another time, follow the snap. So some things that we can get fixed, and a lot of coaching points, and we continue to grow, offensively, defensively, and on special teams. But, it's going to take all 3 phases for us to be special and be a great group, and we talk about that every single week. But the guys continue to buy in and continue to work hard every single day, and that's what we got to have. And as long as we continue to grow and get better every week, we got an opportunity.
2-2, 1-0 in the Mid-South Conference East, and coming off a shutout win. I know the defense is energized heading into practice this week, but I would know the offense too.
Both sides of the football. We had a great practice this morning. The guys had a lot of energy. Some new schemes on both sides of the ball, what they're going to run, Ryan Hartwell this week, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But, the guys really pushing each other and continue that tempo, and that's what we got to have. If we have great tempo in practice, we can get a lot of things done.
Absolutely. Of course, the Bears moved to 2-2. Offensively, Sonny won. Had a big day, some big plays. He got it done on the ground, scoring a touchdown with the feet, and throwing the football as well. A couple of big throws.
A solid day for him. He didn't turn the football over, played within the system, and let the big plays come to him as the game went along, and let things set things up. And that's the number one thing. You got to take care of the football, and that gives us an opportunity every single week. And threw for over 250 yards, rushed for another 50 yards, around 50 yards, I want to say, on 10 carries. So a solid day, taking care of the ball and playing within the system. And if he continues to do this and continues to grow, the sky's the limit for us offensively.
Quan Weaver now with 300-yard rushing games out of the 4 played. Another solid day, over 25 carries. How much of that grind can he take all season?
He says he wants the workload, and we continue to hand it to him. You'll see Jamar Kirksey a little more and more as the season goes along, and to take some of that workload off of him. And you'll see Jeffrey Pruitt as well. Marquise Terrell's been out with the knee injury, and we should be seeing him back in action here in the next week or so. So, especially down the stretch, you'll get to see him. So that gives us some other guys that we can rotate in there. But Quan's our big power back that has the breakaway speed, and we got to continue to ride the horse and give him the football. So he's doing a great job, and we continue to patch that offensive line together with injuries, and those guys continue to grow, and that's only going like we've talked about. It's only going to make us better and add more depth as the year goes along, and we get guys back, and now you create competition at some spots, and now it only makes us better as a football team.
Defensively, a huge day. You hold Bethel to under 100 yards rushing, under 100 yards throwing the football, under 200 yards total offense, and that's just an incredible day in college football regardless of the level.
Defense done a great job. They're flying to the football, so if somebody makes a mistake, there's somebody there to make up for it and make the tackle for them. They continue to buy in. Coach Williams is doing a heck of a job getting these guys in the right spot, and we continue to use different guys in different coverages and things, and it's led by our secondary. We got a lot of depth in that secondary. We can move some guys around, as we'll talk talked to Jack Hopkins tonight. You know, he's our starting safety, but he'll move down and play in the box because he's big and physical and he's fast, and he makes us even faster on defense, and that makes it tough for offenses to be able to play against. And you know, we continue to get a lot of great production out of our linebackers and our defensive line. Them guys are getting pressure on the quarterback, putting them in third and longs, and then that plays into our favor with our DBs in the secondary.
22-0 win on the road in the Mid-South. You have to like that. It's hard to find a negative, but if you have to pinpoint something from the Bethel game and the first 4 games of the season, what is a concern for you moving into Reinhardt this week?
You know, we just got to get more consistent on our special teams. You know, we did really well the first week in our field goals and punt returns and things like that. But you know, we did a lot better in our coverage schemes this week. But we're still not making. You know, we missed 2 extra points, and that's just, you know, breakdowns by us in the extra point team, and you know, miss a field goal as well. So you know, we got to get those things fine-tuned. But we got to continue to grow in all 3 phases, and you know, you never can be satisfied. And if you're satisfied, then we're not going to be very productive as the season goes along. And it's a long season, and we got to continue to improve.
Coach Al Holland, Jr., head coach of your University of Pikeville Bears football team, now 2-2, coming off a 22-0 win over Bethel on the road at Reinhardt in Georgia this Saturday. We'll talk about Reinhardt. We'll get a scouting report on that, and we'll meet some of the Bears players on this edition of the Al Holland Show. Sonny Warren, sophomore quarterback out of Belfry, and Jack Hopkins, junior safety out of Maryland, join us on the Al Holland Show. Stay tuned. We talk U-Pike football. It's presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back to the Coach Al Holland Show. We're talking U-Pike football as the Bears come off a 22-0 win over Bethel University Saturday in Tennessee, and the Bears now 2-2, 1-0 in the Mid-Southeast Division. And as we look back at the win over Bethel, we'll take a look at the highlights. That's coming up in just a moment. We'll also meet a couple of the Bears players tonight. From the offense, Sonny Warren, the sophomore quarterback out of Belfry High School, and Jack Hopkins, a junior safety out of Maryland, joins us on this edition. We'll also have a scouting report on Reinhardt coming up this Saturday. That's a noon kickoff in Georgia for the Bears. We'll wrap up the win over Bethel, and we'll go to the highlights now. And Coach, plenty of highlights in this one. There were some big plays, and we continue to talk about a great defensive effort. We'll see those now. Get things started with the offensive side of the ball.
Here's Sonny running the option a little bit. Looked like him back in his old high school days. Something we'd added in here the past few weeks.
He's pretty comfortable with that.
Oh, yeah.
And he knows how to act when he gets to the end zone like he's been there before.
And then Elijah Bell getting the ball out on the edge. You know, Sonny just recognizing the numbers out here. And like we say, he's probably one of the fastest guys in NAIA football. And, you know, the guys did a great job blocking on the perimeter to set it up for him to get it started.
Playmakers do what playmakers do. They make plays. You get it in his hands.
And another big play in the ball game, Sonny finding Elijah down the middle of the field there. We'd set it up, been running the football, and they'd, you know, drill him in, Quan Weaver did, to set up the big play there on the play action.
And as a quarterback, you have to appreciate the accuracy on the throw.
Yeah, and then here's Quan, you know, one of his many carries on the day. And Sonny, you know, leading downfield and making a block for him. You know, just guys being all in and doing what it takes to win ball games. Then Austin Prey getting into the action, Perry County native. You know, he's been a little quiet on the season, but had a couple nice catches on the ball game and a couple nice plays for us. And Joe Foster right here on the bubble screen.
Yeah, and Sonny Warren, he threw for over 250 yards on the day. And again in the shotgun here.
Yep, and a big fourth down right here. Kayleen Hunter, one of our tight ends. This was a big fourth down to move the ball down in here to get a score early in the ball game for us. And a little boot, Jamar Kirksey here, getting involved at fullback / running back, and nice little showing his hands off and a little nice run after the catch. And the offensive line creating a nice big hole for Quan, and on a little shuffle pass we put in this week. This was a big play in the game. 4th down right here. Joe Foster laying out and making a nice catch down the left sideline here.
Big in this game, 4th down conversions, 2 of 3.
Oh, yes.
You gotta love that.
Got to continue to do it. And we got to continue to be efficient on 4th downs.
Juan Weaver, big run there, breaking tackles.
Here was Sonny with another big run in the ball game. Getting 2 lead blockers out in front of him here.
How about that big guy out in front, Elijah Bell, as a lead blocker?
See him everywhere on the field, lined up a wide out in the backfield, punt returns, a little bit of everything.
And Sonny running over people.
Sonny dropping the shoulder there. And here comes their defensive highlights. You know, Demetrius Taylor, Cam Parsley finishing it up, you know, but guys being around the football, you know. Cam continues to improve every single week, a redshirt freshman for us. Just getting pressure on that quarterback, finding a way. And then Terrell White and then Cam Parsley back in on the sack here, both of them. So, you know, just like we was talking about Jack, you see Jack and Terrell White both down in the box, you know, both physical guys that can move around and be versatile for us. Cornelia Jones getting an interception here. Thought he might take one to the house. Cornelia was a converted wide receiver that we moved over to safety last year. Had to give him a hard time about that one.
I guess. Again, penetration. The defensive front, they're in the backfield all night.
Derek Harris right there coming up and making a big play for us. Another pass breakup by Demetrius Taylor. Big interception by Ramon Morris right here. Just being where he's supposed to be and taking advantage of an opportunity.
Nothing doing there.
There's A.J. Williams right there, and then a gang of Bears right there on top of him.
You had a hole very quickly. It closed very quickly. Linebackers filling.
Yes, sir. There's Jack coming up and making a big play here for us for a tackle for a loss.
This Bears defensive unit is disruptive to offensive units.
They play so well together and you know, taking responsibility and doing their job and being where they're supposed to be.
As an offensive coach, even you can appreciate that effort by the defensive side.
And we get to go against that every day in practice. That makes us better as an offense. And
guarantee it.
Those guys continue to improve every single week and doing a great job right now.
Big win, big shutout. 22-0 over Bethel, first time since 2004. That's how big it is. It hasn't happened in over a decade.
And you don't see that this day and age in college football. And you know, the way offenses play and moving the football up and down the field. And that's a signature moment for this football program moving forward.
22-0. We wrap up the win over Bethel University on the road. We'll preview Reinhardt coming up this weekend. That's still to come on the Coach Al Holland Show. We'll step out, take a break. When we come back, we'll meet a couple of the Bears players from the offense and from the defense. You're tuned to the Al Holland Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back to the Al Holland Show. We're talking University of Pikeville Bears football as UPike coming off a 22-0 win over Bethel University last week on the road at Reinhardt in Georgia. This Saturday, it's a noon kickoff, and we'll have complete coverage beginning at 11:40 on your home for UPike Athletics, Z1075. Joined now by a member of the Bears defensive unit. They've been tagged the dark side. And joined now by safety Jack Hopkins, a 6'1" junior out of Maryland. Jack, welcome to the Al Holland Show.
Thanks for having me.
Big day against Bethel. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first, let's talk about the student, Jack Hopkins. Let's talk about your academic major and what some of your future plans are.
All right, well, I'm a business management major. All my classes are over in the academy building. I'm a junior. And after I'm done with the university, I plan on getting my master's, hopefully becoming a GA like some of the guys are right now. And from there, just finding a job and moving forward.
Very good. So you'd like to maybe move into coaching someday when you finish?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it could be an option, but definitely something to fall back on if other things don't work out.
You come from Maryland to the University of Pikeville. Let's talk about that, how you arrived here. Talk about the recruiting process and how you ended up in Pikeville.
Actually, luckily, one of my defensive back coaches that I had previously went to college with Coach Holland, and they were in contact and made film, moved forward from there, and now I'm here.
There you go. First arrival in Pikeville, your thoughts about the town and the school?
Definitely a small town. I'm not from a city or anything like that, but smaller than what I'm used to. Not used to the mountains either, so there was definitely an adjustment there, but come to love it and happy I'm here.
Many people talk about the adjustment to the community, but also say it's a positive for a college student. You're able to stay focused. The time you spend in practice, on the road in games, in the weight room, in the classroom doesn't leave a lot of free time. You don't need a lot of extra activities.
Right, especially in season, we're always doing something, whether it's practice, film, lifting, or study hall that the coaches make us do to stay focused on our schoolwork too.
You guys get a big win over Bethel Saturday. You had 9 tackles in the win. Congratulations. Great effort. Defensive unit all season long has played very well together. In the locker room, do you guys get along that well as you seem to get along on the field?
We're very close as a unit. I mean, of course as a team, but our defensive side, we love each other, and that's why we play for each other.
Yeah. Big goals, I know you have said every week. I don't know how they ranked out this week, but under 100 yards rushing for Bethel, that had to meet one of the goals.
Well, we don't set the goals that low, but we definitely achieved it. We knew they were a running football team, so we came in there trying to make them beat us with the pass, and they couldn't do that.
Let's talk about a day in the life. Let's talk about coming off a win. You get a win on Saturday over Bethel. You've got a bus ride back, which is a more enjoyable ride, I would imagine.
Right.
Coach included. Everybody's in a better mood.
Absolutely.
But talk about coming off a Saturday win, heading back to class, heading back to practice. Talk about your schedule. Sunday, what's your schedule Sunday?
Sunday, we do a light lift to try to get the soreness out. Everybody's usually feeling it pretty hard after the game.
Sure.
As you should, but after that, we watch film and start preparing for the next week. We try to forget the win after we celebrated for a short amount of time, and now we're moving forward to the next week.
You get your first look at Reinhardt on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
What do you see out of Reinhardt? What kind of team are they?
They're a great team. They're a big team, and they're fast, but they run a simple offense, and I think we have a scheme that we already put in that's going to give them some trouble.
On Sunday, you get a look at your next opponent. Monday's schedule.
Monday, that's our off day, but we still meet up, watch film again, and talk about what we're going to scheme for practice with the scouts and take it from there.
Back on the practice field Tuesday morning, bright and early.
Good morning, yes, sir.
5 a.m., you're up, Adam.
Love it.
And you're loving that early schedule. Jack Hopkins, our guest from the defensive side with your UPike Bears, now 2-2. Jack, congratulations on a great game. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
We'll step out, take a quick break. When we come back from the offensive side, sophomore quarterback Sonny Warren of Belfry next on the Al Holland Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back to the Al Holland Show. We're talking University of Pikeville Bears football. The Bears now 2-2, coming off a 22-0 win over Bethel University. And we're joined now by sophomore quarterback from Belfry, Sonny Warren, in the hot seat with us. And Sonny, welcome in. We're going to talk football, but first, let's talk about the student athlete. We've done this before. You know the answers. You know the questions. Academic major, and what are your plans in the future?
My academic major right now is criminal justice, and then after I graduate, I've kind of thought about getting into coaching a little bit, but I'm kind of leaning more towards going to law school, and I'm going to do a civil litigation.
Yeah, you've got plenty of time to do that. You can coach a little while.
Yeah.
Go to law school. You could be NFL commissioner someday.
Hey, maybe one day.
There you go. Sonny Warren, Bears quarterback. And Sonny, the transition from high school to college football. Let's talk about that a little bit. You come from Belfry, a school that while you threw it more when you were there, they don't like to throw it a lot. Coach Haywood's not a guy that likes to put it up in the air. He knows that there are too many bad things that can happen. Talk about the transition going from that offense to Coach Al Holland's wide open offense.
It was a different transition as far as the mental curve, as far as learning what reads and getting the ball out of my hands as quick as possible, and just trying to make the right read and get the ball to the right guy at the right time. But the transition became a little smoother for me because we had great athletes, and then Coach Holland, he helped me a lot. He kind of held my hand, man, and walked me along the way and showed me how to do it.
Saw some highlights from this past week. You've got a little quarterback read option.
Yes, sir.
In the offense now. That had to feel familiar to what you did at Belfry, running the belly there. How did that feel as you were running that in practice leading up to the game?
Oh, yeah, man. We joke about it in practice all the time, and I say it's just second nature to me. I don't even have to think about it anymore. I've read it so much. It feels comfortable. I'm comfortable doing it.
and it obviously worked well. I think teams have trouble with the option. They don't see that a lot these days, and Reinhardt, a team that you won't see that a lot either. Your defensive unit, they've done it extremely well this year. How much do the offensive guys appreciate what the defensive side has done so far this season?
Oh, man, we love it, man. The defense is great, man. They're the nastiest, meanest defense in the Mid-South Conference, man. And I love those guys. They make it really easy on the offense as far as, there's drives that we don't come away with points where we needed to come away with points, but we feel somewhat comfortable because we know that our defense is going to get the stop and get the ball back in our hands to give us another chance.
Coach Al Holland talked about it. Your offense competes against that defensive unit in practice all week. How helpful is that leading up to your next week's game?
Oh, it's extremely helpful. I mean, I've said it for 2 years. It didn't matter what team we played. I always felt like practice, I seen the hardest defense to play against because our defense moves so much. We have so much movement throughout the defense, and it's just really hard to pick up on.
As a high school quarterback making the transition to the Mid-South Conference, very good conference in small college football, quarterbacks sometimes will have problems with consistency. The accuracy will be there, the reads will be there. One game, the next game, they're not quite as easy to find. And you, like any other quarterback at this level, you have issues with consistency from time to time. Your freshman year, you battle injury, then you've got to try to find that consistency again. One of your best overall games offensively this past week, is it starting to become more comfortable, the reads and the speed of the game now?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm starting to settle in a little bit more and calm down and really just trust my line and not worry so much about what's going on around me in the pocket and be able to keep my eyes downfield and stay calm and poised.
You have a favorite receiver just yet? You're not going to go there?
Not yet. I like to spread the ball around to anybody. Anybody scoring touchdowns. That's who I like to throw the ball to.
And you did that this past week. We saw that. A couple of big plays from Elijah Bell, and saw him return the favor on one occasion. He was a lead blocker for you. Does it make you as a runner, because you've become a running back at that point, does it make you feel better seeing a little guy like Elijah Bell out in front or Brandon Ball?
Oh, Brandon Ball, man. Okay. Yeah, he's a big body.
But I'm thinking Elijah Bell plays big. He plays with a lot of heart.
Elijah, he does. Elijah's a little smaller, he's undersized, but he has a lot of heart, and he's a lot stronger than you think he is.
I'm like you. I want Ball out in front of me. I don't care how slow a foot he is.
That's Ball's job, yeah.
That's it. He's been there before. Sonny Warren leading the offense over 250 yards passing last week. You ran for a touchdown. You threw for 2 more. Great job. Best of luck this week against Reinhardt and the rest of the year.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure watching Sonny Warren's career at Belfry and now at the University of Pikeville. You still have a couple of years and your next opportunity in 2 weeks at the Hambly Complex to watch this U-Pike team when they'll take on Campbellsville. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get the scouting report on Reinhardt with Coach Al Holland. It's presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back to the Al Holland Show, where we talk University of Pikeville Bears football. U-Pike now 2-2 on the year, coming off a 22-0 win over Bethel University last week. Rejoined by the head coach of your U-Pike Bears now, Coach Al Holland. A great representation, and I love meeting these guys, seeing them on the field. You get a sense of what kind of talent they have as football players, but to meet them out of uniform as college students and realize that they have majors and they go to class and they have future plans, and seeing the tremendous young men that represent this university, it's always great.
That's 2 great young men right there that both get it done in the classroom. 3.5 GPAs or above. Jack's almost close to a 4.0, perfect. And them guys, their academics mean a lot to them, but they get it done on the field and in the classroom, and and they got a plan for life, and they're ready to go, and they continue to work hard every single day. We get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, but for guys like that, because now they can major in anything they want to. They can get to class, and there's no conflicts in class schedules for them guys. So, that means a lot for them as student athletes here at this university.
And I think it's important to realize that small college football, while many will have a dream of playing at the next level, at professional football in some capacity, others realize that that's probably not going to happen for them. A 6'1", 200-pounder at quarterback is not going to move on typically. So they're making plans for their future. They have lives in front of them. Sonny talks about law school. Jack talks about becoming a GA, maybe going into coaching,
Right.
and somewhere down the road. They're preparing for life while still able to enjoy a game that they love.
Right, and and the window to make it to the next level, and it don't matter if you're here at Alabama, wherever
Sure.
you're at, is just so small of a window. And and there'll be guys that'll play overseas. There's a former player I coached at Eastern, and he's playing quarterback over in Italy. But he wanted to prolong his career and continue to play. But they have something to fall back on, because nobody can take this degree away from them at the end of the day. And that's the number one thing. When you walk out of here after playing 4 years or been here 5 years, walk away with that degree, because nobody can take that away from you the rest of your life. Now you have something to fall back on. If you want to play arena ball, if you make it to the NFL, if you make it a year or 2 years, then you have your degree to fall back to get you a job, to get ready for the real world.
And still able to go out and play a kids game on Saturdays and get wins. UPike now 2-2, coming up this week on the road to Georgia. Reinhardt University, give us a quick scouting report on them.
Not the biggest football team that we've played. Very fast team. They're very athletic, a tough offense that you don't see every single week. So a lot of misdirection stuff. So, we're going to have to play sound defense. They're going to try to cut us, and they have smaller linemen that's going to get down the football field and try to get to the second and third level on us. So we got to play very sound up front on both sides of the ball. Their defense, they're going to give you multiple fronts, and they're going to try to match up with their receivers. I could see them loading the box on us and saying, hey, make our wideouts make some plays. And it's time for our wideouts to step up. They're due for a big ball game, but we got to continue to pound away, hand that ball to Quan Weaver, and take care of the football. That's the key to success for us, is taking care of the ball. Can't have the ball on the ground, can't throw interceptions, be sound in our special teams, and our defense is going to pack us, and they're a backbone of this football team.
As this offensive unit continues to develop this season, I see defenses being forced to address different concerns.
Right.
You've got the speed, you've got Elijah Belt, you've got the option, you've got the wideouts that you can go to. And Sonny, very accurate throwing the football. You've got a good offensive line that's solid. Quan Weaver, you've got Jamar Kirksey. There are so many different ways that you can hurt them offensively. They've got a lot to prepare for.
And that's the big thing about Sonny, and he had a big game for us this past week, because he understood and is taking advantage of what teams are giving us. They want to load the box. Let's get the ball out to the edge. Let's get to our athletes out there at wideout. They want to try to take those guys away and defend them. Hey, let's run the football, and we'll pound away. It don't matter. We're average. We want to average 4 yards a pop, and that way we're moving the chains. And first downs equal touchdowns. So I don't care if we stay out there 12, 14 plays, and we'll keep the ball 7, 8 minutes. The defense loves that. They're getting a nice little break, and that's big for us, and controlling the clock and taking care of the ball. But, just got to continue to work and watch a lot of film and be prepared going into every ball game.
As an offensive guy, that's the kind of play calling you enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the defense gives you, you're ready to adjust and make the play call as needed.
Yes, that's right.
Coach Al Holland, head coach of your University of Pikeville Bears, 2-2 now on the season at Reinhardt. Saturday, a noon kickoff. Will be on the air at 11:40 on Z1075. Be sure and tune in then, and tune in again next Tuesday for the next edition of the Al Holland Show. It's presented by Appalachian Wireless.